Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and it's time to check in with Spud McKay on the latest from the Northern Areas Footy Association. How are you going, Spud?
Pretty good, thanks, Dan. Been a pretty cold week, plenty of frosts around and not a lot of rain, but that's probably the case. If you haven't got too much cloud cover there, you're going to get the frost.
Hasn't been an ideal winter for farmers, but I dare say those footy players that don't like playing in the mud and the rain are enjoying the dry weather.
That's right. Certainly in Northern Areas there hasn't been anything to speak of as far as wet grounds go, but I know Northeastern and that have been playing in some wet conditions down in the southern part, especially around Yadunda and that sort of thing. So yeah, it is what it is. You just got to take it. But it's a winter game, and we expect hopefully to get some wet grounds before the season's finished.
Absolutely, we'll continue to hope for that. With apologies to those that don't like playing wet weather footy. Well, it's a winter sport, so tough luck. We will continue to hope for rain. But let's get into these games from last weekend. Tough day for Jamestown-Peterborough, just 1 goal, 9 points on the board. Broughton-Mundura did them in by 20 goals, 19-15, 129.
Yeah, very impressive effort by Broughton-Mundura. 9 goals in the first quarter. The game is pretty much over at quarter time, and that's how they like to do it, because you then can sort of play around with your team a little bit. You make a few positional changes and that sort of thing. But Jamestown-Peterborough only scored the 1 goal in the second quarter, and nothing much after that. A point in the last quarter, nothing in the third quarter. They'd be disappointed with that, because I did say last week that I thought if they got within 5 to 6 goals, that'd be a pretty good effort, but they were nowhere near that good.
So a really disappointing day for Jamestown-Peterborough, still searching for their first win, but for Broughton-Mundura, that gets them to 5-5 on the season with a healthy percentage, in fact, a better percentage than BMW on top of the ladder. So Broughton-Mundura clearly pretty motivated in that one to stay with the top 3 teams and stay in touch with that pack. So a good win by them. Let's go to this BMW win over Southern Flinders. I think some accurate kicking probably kept Southern Flinders in the game. 11-13, 79 BMW, 16-point winners over Southern Flinders, 10-3, 63.
Yeah, BMW had the game under control at three-quarter time, and I know Alec Kanga, the coach, would have been probably a little bit disappointed with the last quarter. Only scored 1 goal, 3, and Southern Flinders scored 3 goal, 1. So it was a really good effort by Southern Flinders, and BMW, they did what they had to do to get the win. Again, they've probably got a few people that are injured at this stage, and when you get to this stage of the season, you've got to pick and choose. If you've got somebody that's not 100%, you perhaps give them a rest in a game like that. But let's not take anything away from Southern Flinders. A really strong effort by them, and they are progressing pretty good under Scott Brand.
Good win by BMW and a good effort from Southern Flinders too, but it was Orroroo and Crystal Brook playing out the match of the round, I think. Crystal Brook going on the road and beating Orroroo, handing them just their 3rd loss for the season, leapfrogging them for second spot on the ladder in the process. 14 goals, 7, Crystal Brook 91 to Orroroo 11-14, 80. So poor kicking from Orroroo might have cost them that one.
Yeah, certainly did, and again, if you Matty Coates, the coach of Crystal Brook, he probably wouldn't have penciled this one in. It's always really hard to play up at Orroroo, and sometimes you're lucky. But they would be really happy to Crystal Brook to be able to get the points out of this game, and they will take a lot out of it. Bearing in mind that it is we're only round 10 there last week, so. There's a lot of footy to be played yet before we get to the finals, and that's when Orroroo seem to excel.
All right, so a good round for round 10. Really good wins by Crystal Brook, BMW and Broughton-Mundura. Let's look ahead to the round 11 action, Spud, and 2 of those really good winners from last week are playing off tomorrow. Broughton-Mundura looking to keep this good form going as they host BMW.
Yeah, this should be a really good game. It appears as though Broughton-Mundura are starting to really put things together now at this stage of the season, and they will be looking to go ahead with that down there at Broughton. But BMW, Alec Kanga will be looking to get them firing, and certainly won't want to let this slip because there's not much in it. That they could very well, they're a couple of wins ahead of Crystal Brook on the ladder now, but and Orroroo, they're both on 14. But it's a match that you sort of, if you're Alec Kanga, you sort of want the BMW to sort of go into the break the following week with a win in this game.
Orroroo are hosting Southern Flinders, so a good chance for them to get back on the winners list tomorrow.
Yeah, at Orroroo, Southern Flinders. Shane Ballantyne's in really good form for them. Matt Spenceley and Zeke Kay are their two experienced players that give service week in, week out. Will Smart's been playing pretty serviceably for them, but Orroroo, on the other hand, Darren Hughes is in really good form in the centre for them, and they got Tom Reed, Declan Duffy, are sort of playing really good footy too. So up forward, I would think Orroroo would probably be a bit strong in Isaac Moller and Ollie Dingman. They'll probably get a fair bit of the ball, and they'll probably kick a winning score there, I would have thought.
What's going on here, Spud? Orroroo get 2 home games in a row before going into a bye, so they go a month in between road games. Should we start calling them the Collingwood Magpies?
Yeah, it's just the way the draw works, but it balances out at the end of the season where you've all had the same amount of away games and home games. So, just the way the draw is.
Just the way things go, and very fortuitous for Orroroo, so they'll take advantage of that home game tomorrow and probably get a win against Southern Flinders, but we will wait and see. In the last game of the round, Crystal Brook hosting Jamestown-Peterborough. Tough ask for the Magpies here, but after a really disappointing showing this week, I think they would just be looking to improve upon that effort and hold their own, at least for half the game, against one of the premier teams of the comp.
Yeah, certainly. And Crystal Brook, like I said, though, if a team is coming up against a bottom side, they like to get the score on the board early and then be able to just sort of coast along. And Crystal Brook have got probably a fair few players looking to play next week in the zone game. So if they're able to sort of spell them at some stage during the game, that would be really good for them. But yeah, you would expect Crystal Brook will be too strong with Will Coombe, Oscar Pedler in the ruck. He's not always there. He's sort of sometimes away, but when he's there, he gives them a really good first use of the ball. And with Braden Kirk, Jackson Richmond and that around the ball there, they get pretty good service, and they will kick a winning score here.
All right, big weekend ahead in Northern Areas Footy. Enjoy it, Spud. Good luck to everyone who's playing tomorrow in the Northern Areas Footy Association. And Spud, we'll check in with you again next week. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Dan. You too. Have a good weekend.